welcome to another episode of the Enlisted Podcast. My name is Antonio Talamo.
And I'm Casey Coleman.
Casey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine. We got a fun show tonight. It's one a lot of our listeners have asked for, and we will be covering something in the music realm. We're going to be discussing top 5 one-hit wonders.
This is the first one of its kind. This is the first music-based top 5 list. We've done a lot of food. We've done some movies. So this is the first one, and I love music. I know a lot of people say that, but I mean, I will listen to anything and everything. I know you and I have some similar tastes in music, which I think helps in the office when we are co-sharing or co-DJing,
Yes.
which I love. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to think prior to me having Spotify, I had horrible music taste, and Spotify kind of opened me up to just discovering new artists, bands, things that I like, and so I attribute my music taste improving, much thanks to you. And if I could only pay one bill for the rest of my life, it would be for Spotify. I would forgo my rent, I would forgo everything else. I think Spotify is one of the best things out there. I love discovering new music, and I just love it.
It's funny you say that because when I first met you and I was on Spotify like early, folks, I still am till this day like a Spotify ambassador
Yeah,
because
your last name is actually Spotify.
yeah, it might as well be at this point. I love Spotify. I mean, it's always cool because I get to discover new artists. And in another life, was a music agent because I feel like I always like to discover these different like weird talents. I take a lot of pride in like finding an artist before they're popular.
Yes.
So whatever. So I listen to it often in the car, whatever the case may be. And when I first met you, I try to get you to buy it or use it, and you refused.
Yes. Which I know we've discussed this on the podcast before. When you're right, you're right. And when I'm wrong, I'm really wrong. And here's a prime example. I was still buying music like song for song because I had just, I don't know, I took internet piracy very seriously, and I always bought all my music. I was never a LimeWire person. I was never an illegal download person. I always bought my music, CDs, whatever. And particularly even when I was developing, got my own laptop and stuff like that and curating my own music, I would still buy it on iTunes. And then I remember just hitting a point where you said to me, you were like, okay, you're paying $1.29 for like one song. And you were like, literally Spotify is basically an all you can eat buffet. And I mean, I can't believe I was so adamant against streaming.
Well, I think it was just funny. Like you were so adamant. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I really like it. You were like, absolutely not. I want to support the artist. And I'm here going like, dude, you would literally give the artist more money if you listen to their song like 100 times on Spotify versus just buying it. And I just imagine you like having like hard drives of this stuff, just like
Yeah,
carrying it around. And I'm just like, dude, you
it's
gotta
Yeah, it's
move on.
really, really sad. I like think about it sometimes. And, I have an old Mac that I haven't opened in years, to be honest. I bought it, back in high school, and there's all this music on there that I'm like, I don't. It's it's a waste. It really it's not. I mean, it wasn't a waste at the time, but now I'm like, there's no point to it, and so I will continue to pay for Spotify until the day I die, and I'll probably pay the bill after that so it can be DJ'd at my
Just so someone
funeral.
else can use it.
Yeah.
Well,
And
so today's topic, Casey, you go ahead. You were going to say something.
oh, no, it's okay. I was just gonna say, I mean, I would want Spotify probably to play at my funeral, but I also want Chopped, the show, to be streamed at my funeral. But that's a conversation for another day.
That's right. You have said that at your funeral, and again, another topic where funerals come up. You mentioned to me that you want Chopped playing in the background. Any particular reason?
I just think it's a great show. I think the formula is phenomenal. That's the one thing I miss about cable is like putting on the Food Network and just watching Chopped, and you're like, how are they going to make an entree with gummy bears and rice paper and salmon? And you're like, yeah, I would eat that. Or you're sitting there backseat cooking. You're like, no, you got to make an aioli out of that. So
Let me
yeah.
tell you, I can never be on that show because I don't think I have the confidence that they do. The part that gets me about Chopped is that the the chefs will often be like, "Oh, I saw the sardines and the ice cream, and I thought creme brulee. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You did not think that in your wildest dream that you would make whatever it is that you're so confident about. But they're confident, and that's what makes them. But I will make sure
Yeah.
that I will. I mean, I don't know that I can make sure of this, and I hope it doesn't
Yeah.
happen anytime soon. But we'll play Chopped at your funeral.
Thank you. Yeah, well, now it exists in the podcast world, so someone out there will know to pass that message along.
Yeah, no, that's really funny. And
Yeah.
we talked so today. One hit wonders. I love the name One Hit Wonders because I think it really explains what they are. And I do want to give a little bit of an overview, Casey, because I don't want to say I struggled with the list. I had a lot of fun with it, remembering older songs,
Uh,
but I was like, I had to look it up. I was like, what's a one hit wonder?
yeah. And for me, as someone who really is terrible with like band names, who doesn't know singers sometimes, like I mean, deafness literally runs in my family. I don't know, I didn't grow up with a ton of music. And so for me, I similarly had to do some researching on my own of like, okay, what are a couple things? 'Cause I wanted to ensure that these were quite honestly one hit wonders, that there wasn't like, oh, they had another hit a couple years later, or oh, it was like, no, these are just cut and dry. Like they did one thing and now they're probably working at a bank somewhere because they are not making music.
Well, and it's interesting because one hit wonders are essentially, because that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, what is a one hit wonder? Is it that they never made a song ever again? Or they're just really known for that one song and the rest, even if they made music, was
They
not a
can't
thing?
shake it. Yep.
Yeah, like you just wouldn't like if I asked you about this and a certain artist, if I asked you to name another song, you wouldn't know it, even if they had them. So it sounds like we're
Hmm.
on the same page, though.
Yes. And I mean, I just and I think it'll come up as we get into our lists, but one thing that I love about certain one-hit wonders is I think a lot of them benefit from like the live event scene, right? So weddings, bar mitzvahs, sweet 16s, there's certain songs that come up that it's like it plays at every wedding. It plays at every, it's on a karaoke bar rotation because it's so popular.
Oh, I agree. I think a lot of one hit wonders are great karaoke songs because that's the thing with one hit wonders. Sometimes you can literally be defined by that one song,
Hmm.
and it's one of the greatest songs. I mean, it could be a top 100 of all time song. Besides, like
Hmm.
Beethoven and Mozart, like they don't really count. They didn't have top charts back then. um, but I'm
Or
just saying,
dental care.
or dental. Two things they didn't have is a Billboard Top 100 and dental care. Yeah, it's something I didn't think about, Casey.
Yeah. But and I bring it up because you know me, and for a lot of folks that know me or listeners that don't, I absolutely love weddings.
You,
Weddings,
man, you need to start a rent a Casey wedding service.
yes. I just to give our listeners out there some just stories from weddings. I have been told at numerous weddings. Normally, I would say 80% of the weddings I've ever attended, either the father or mother of the bride or the groom will come up to me at one point and personally thank me for coming because I kept the dance floor alive, or I had infectious energy, I got people out there. I once bruised a rib at a wedding. I was dancing so hard, doing back bends, that when I got home, I was having kind of like shortness of breath, trouble breathing a couple years ago. And I was like, something's really not right. And I went to urgent care, and it turns out that I bruised my ribs.
This should surprise no one. And you were at my wedding. I have been to two weddings with you now. I can
Yes.
agree that Casey is a great time. But here's the thing, folks, and we've talked about this, but I really mean this. This man has no rhythm. He is
None.
in no way in tune and rhythm with the songs. He's offbeat, but he is having an incredible time to the point where you want to just like have fun with him.
Yes. I literally have no rhythm. So much so that I like if all of Giant Stadium was clapping along to a beat, if I started, I could throw off all of Giant Stadium. Like if I was a supervillain, that would be my superpower. I literally have not a drop of rhythm in my body.
Well, many things to choose from as a supervillain. I think if you threw people off B, I think that would be like the least evil thing you can do.
Yeah, which I mean, I think fits my character to a certain extent. But so in high school, I was voted most school spirit, and which again, probably a surprise to no one. But I used to lead my friend and we used to lead the like student cheer section, and the cheerleaders would actually stop their cheers midway through and adopt to what I was doing because that's how much of a first of all, that's how much of a presence I was, and that's also how much of a train wreck I was in terms of rhythm.
We were very different people in high school. Now we didn't go to the same school, just for the record. We met once we started working together. I don't think I was even mentioned in I was no, not I think. I was never mentioned as like most likely to do anything. I was a good like student, but I was just like in the middle. I wasn't popular, I wasn't not popular. So to hear your high school experience is fantastic because I had a very different experience for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean high school as a closeted gay boy in Catholic school was not a cakewalk by any means, but I would sort of describe myself in high school as kind of being like I was friends with everybody, but no one like in with the exception of a couple core like friends that ride or die, I still talk to them regularly. But besides a couple of them, like I would be like friends with all the popular people or friendly with them. Like they would obviously want to copy me or take my test answers, whatever.
Okay,
And
all
then
right,
wait,
sure.
hold on. No, 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 no. This is true. Anyone who had Mr. Pfeiffer for history knows what I'm talking about.
This is not a
But
real
what
teacher.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, that's again conversation for another day. Mr. Pfeiffer is a real teacher and he's a very scary guy. But what I was going to say is that I was just kind of like friendly with these people enough that I wasn't necessarily made fun of. They would like, want to talk to me in school, but then outside of school, I was kind of like on my own. I was like, okay, like I see you all on MySpace at a party. It's fine. I don't want to go. It's fine. And truly, I turned
It's
out
fine. Yeah, it's
wonderfully.
just
I'm
fine.
okay. I never want to be someone that peaked in high school, and the people I'm still close to from high school were not the people that peaked in high school. So
Yeah.
we're good
No, I know
people.
what you mean. I know what you mean. I know that energy. I've seen it, and like it's always funny because like in retrospect, I think about you say I'm glad I didn't peak in high school. I definitely did not peak in high school, and I'm totally fine with that because I'm living my life now. I want to peak when I'm like
Exactly.
50.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's
want to
when I want
peak.
to peak.
I want to peak at like age 80 in a hot air balloon.
Yeah, you're talking about literally peaking though.
Yeah,
Like being at the top of the world, like
I
the
guess
dude from
so.
Up.
Yes.
That's
Why
funny.
can't I remember his name? Doesn't matter.
I don't know. You know, I don't know names. You
Yeah.
can asking the wrong person. Now, here's one thing I know about you, Casey. When I first met you, is that you have a thing for mishearing lyrics.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am absolutely garbage at lyrics.
You are committed though. I
Garbage.
mean, when you are, here's the thing though, like you are good at singing them. You are ironically, you are on beat. I've heard that's the only time you are on beat and have rhythm is when you're rapping or like singing a song. That's legit. That's for real. If anybody wants to hear him rap a whole verse, ask him about American Boy by Estelle, the Kanye West part
Oh my
specifically.
gosh.
He
Yeah.
will go through the entire thing.
Oh my God. Yes, that is definitely an example of there's probably I think 5 songs in my entire life, which maybe that's again another a list for another day, like 5 songs in my entire life that I know every single lyric to. Most songs I only know like 20% of them and then I just kind of fake it. I mishear things all the time.
So give me an
Um,
example. What's the lyric that you've misheard for a long time?
Yes. So the one of the first ones that comes to my mind is a very popular band, Fall Out Boy. So Sugar We're Going Down. I know
Yeah.
many people know this song, and I'm not going to sing it all because my singing voice is terrible. I think I peaked at singing in 7th grade, quite literally, because then in 8th grade I had a solo and everybody laughed at me when my
Oh
voice
my
cracked.
god.
Yeah. School's great for me. But in that song, so Sugar We're Going Down Swinging, they're like, it's going down, down. And this is what I hear. It's down, down, dig a woogity down.
That is true.
Sugar, sugar, we're going down swinging.
Which
And
is
I
not
think,
the words.
But I can't tell you what they are, but that's what I hear.
Well, and I remember telling you that these are not the lyrics. So there were a few times where he sings, and I'm like, "What did you just say?" Like, those are not the words. And he insists, even if I
Yes.
show him that those are not the lyrics, he
Yeah,
insists on telling
there's
me that
just
they are.
yeah. I mean, I even once upon a time, I mean, this is a little embarrassing. I thought that Santa's reindeer were Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Connor, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. And I've been told that there's no Connor.
What do you mean? It sounds good to me, though. Sounds like it makes
I
sense.
know. So side note, I think someday could release a children's book about Connor, like Santa's forgotten reindeer. But yeah, in that song, I just was like, oh, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Connor and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. Like hearing him just creating reindeer. Another one that comes to my mind is, oh my gosh, Jimmy Eat Worlds,
Yes, I was gonna mention this one.
which I'm striking out on the tune of it for a
It
second.
goes, you're talking about the part that goes, "It just takes some time."
Time, little girl, in a little opera ride.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's my favorite. And by the way, every time I hear Jimmy E World and that part comes on, I think a little opera ride. I don't know what is it, a little opera ride.
so in my head, a little opera ride is kind of like if you can imagine like a ski chalet, like what you would ride to the top of the mountain, like an enclosed little, oh my God, not monorail, like sky, ski lift kind of
Sure,
thing.
sure, yeah.
And it's just a small little padded room, and there's a woman singing opera. It's a little opera ride.
It's a little opera ride.
And I don't know what they're saying in that song, but that's what I hear, and I just like cannot shake it.
I and it's one of my favorite misheard lyrics from you. I have a few though. So I don't typically mishear lyrics that many like as often, but there are times that I do, and I know I'm not alone in this, but in one of Taylor Swift's songs.
I was hoping you were going to bring this up because, and I like want to really claim ownership of this. I believe I was the first one to come up with
You
this.
think so?
When I heard this song, I literally thought, so are you referring to Blank Space?
Yes.
Yes, there's that line where something something, and I hear Starbucks lovers.
That's what I hear. There's a
And I
list
remember
of
like
Starbucks lovers.
And I remember Googling it like a little bit afterwards, and there were like people talking about this on the internet. And I was like, oh my gosh, for the first time in my life, I feel like there's like validation to mishearing lyrics and being confused, because so often it's like, oh, that's not what it is. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I always like to like make sure I get the lyrics right because I don't want to sound stupid. For example, there's a song out now by I don't know if you know it, by BTS,
Of course I know BTS.
right? But the new song that they have out, Dynamite.
Yes.
I was listening to the radio and I was like, "Oh, I guess they're letting them curse on the radio now because there's that one part that goes with the little funk and soul." And I thought they were saying with the little fucking song.
Oh
And I'm
my
going,
gosh.
why would they put that on the radio? And now I can't unhear it and I cringe every time I hear the song.
Wow. Speaking of cringing, why are some bands, like particularly one-hit wonder bands or artists, have the worst possible names?
My theory, Casey, is that the reason these are one hit wonders, like 95% of them, is because of their band name.
Interesting. So you think it's one of those situations where someone's like, oh, I really like this song, and then they learn it's by someone called Hoobastank, and they're like, Hooba
Yeah.
what?
Yes. What a horrible name for a band. Great song by Hoobastank, one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
But Hoobastank?
Who? Oh my God, it's
First of all, who's
horrible.
Hooba and why did they stank like that?
Yeah.
You
I
bet.
just,
Like, I just imagine that's something you say to people like, man, you're Hooba stank. Go take a shower.
yeah. Or like, yeah, exactly. Like, oh, she was riding the bus and she got Hoobastank between her legs. Like, she had to
Ew. Oh
go.
my God, Casey.
Like, no, it sounds like an infection. Like, it sounds like some kind of venereal disease.
Like an STD. Well, so that's the problem. I know there's I mean, I'm going through a list here, right? So it's not off the top of my head, but I'm looking at like some of these from like the 90s. Like we have Weedus,
Yeah. What was
like
that one?
Wheat
It was like
Us.
I'm a teenage dirtbag, right? That
Yeah,
was them.
Teenage Dirtbag. You've
Yeah.
got go ahead.
Chumbawamba, right? Weren't they one?
Chumbawamba. Yes, Chumbawamba was one of them. Witch Doctor. I'm just going, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good theory to think that, it's like, oh, who is this? And you're like, oh,
Like, how
ew.
successful would Baha Men been if their name wasn't Baha Men?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It could have been a whole different world we lived in, but they really just they were
Like,
the Baja
do you
Men.
remember the Ketchup song?
The ketchup song, no, I don't.
Okay, so the Ketchup song was like it like was a huge hit in the early 2000s. It played like I believe it was like the one of the World Cup songs. If you hear it, you'll know it. It has nothing to do with ketchup, which is part of the problem. But you know who sings the song?
I don't know what the song is. Can you give me a lyric or two?
You're putting me
I'm
on the
putting you
spot here.
I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't
Well, because you're
remember.
saying
I don't remember.
it's not about ketchup, so in my mind I'm like
It had like
ketchup,
a
ketchup,
whole
ketchup.
no.
Like,
So it was technically in Spanish,
okay,
but it
not
had like a
helping my
whole
case.
dance to it. It was like
Oh,
Spanglish kind of.
I don't know.
Well,
Horrible
whatever. The
movie with
point
Adam
is,
Sandler.
it was a one-hit wonder, and the person who's like the band, I don't know what they were. Their band name was Las Ketchup.
What?
Yeah, terrible name. Great song, and maybe we'll have to listen to it afterwards so that you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I need
But
to
just
know.
horrible, horrible, horrible,
Wow.
horrible.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, not really a good one with rhythm, not a good one with music lyrics. I would also attribute this to partially because of the music program I went to in like my grade school. I know we've talked about this on the podcast before, but my Catholic school music classes were, um, how do I say this? They by my teacher who my the teacher of who taught me music, Antonio, she was a part-time teacher at my school, and her other part-time job was that she sold meats and cheeses at Hickory Farms, and she was the sister of like an English teacher.
Wait, why is that relevant? Why is the sister of an English teacher relevant?
Because I was only ever taught by like my friends' parents or relatives of the people that worked at the school.
That so part time she sold meats and cheese. That's how did that play out in the music program? Did she have you guys sing about salami?
No, but we had oh my gosh, we are singing. We would always practice like Catholic school songs for church and stuff like that. And again, conversations for other days because there were some songs that really slapped and still slap to this day. But there was always a huge emphasis on like the Christmas play, the Christmas pageants, all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing that they would make us do was they would make us do these reports on like different kind of instruments or countries or whatever. And Antonio, on my life, I don't know why I remember this, but I remember it was like if there was 20 of us in a class, she's like, all right, like you're all gonna pick a country and like write about the music of the country. So we did that, and then like 2 weeks later it was like, okay, you're gonna now pick another country, and but no one can repeat. So it was like, okay, and we did that like 4 times. So we
Okay.
got to a point where it was like we were picking these like very obscure, like very small, like countries. And I just remember like at certain points, like just making it up.
You,
Like
you made what up? The songs?
I made up the songs and the instruments. Like I remember at one point, I think I had to do it on like the country of Togo, and I was like, yeah, in Togo, like they have a digi drum, like and a flu guitar, like just making stuff up.
Well, and she wouldn't know the difference because she just works at like a meat shop.
Yeah, like she didn't care. It was just busy work. But yeah, there was just like we really just mostly spent all of our time either singing like Christmas carols or singing songs for church. That was really what the emphasis was. And like I said, this was a part-time person. It also our music room was also our art room, which was also like 5 other rooms. It was
Of
also where we had
course.
to go if there was ever like a disaster was going to happen to the school, like in
Right.
bomb shelter drills and stuff like that. It was like, oh, we're going to the music room.
Yeah, no, of course, because it's soundproof, maybe. Yeah, no, it definitely
No,
makes sense. And they had
yeah,
to
no, it
improvise.
also definitely wasn't soundproof. But
I
that's
was,
again,
yeah, I mean, you're not getting that in Catholic school. But I remember in middle school, I also tried out for the choir and I made it. I can't sing. Although I will tell you, Casey, I'm very jealous of people who can sing. Like I think if I could sing, that's what I would do for a living. I would just want to sing. I love the art of singing, and I tried out. I don't remember what song I tried out with. I wasn't good. I still got on, and one of the first songs he made us learn as a choir was the song by Barry Manilow, "I Am Your Child,"
Oh
which
my God.
it was a
Wow.
very like
It's
mellow.
progressive.
Yeah. Well, first of all, even at the time, it had been out for like 15 years or whatever, maybe less. But I don't know what the point of it was. It was just
Yeah.
I just remember being in like thinking that I was gonna learn how to sing, and I never did.
I'm sorry for your missed opportunity there. Yeah, we just were literally forced, like in the month of December, it was like we stopped doing school stuff and we were just preparing for the Christmas pageant, which always had to end up with somehow Jesus being born in a manger. And there
Of
were these like
course, yeah.
very like one year it was in a mall, one year it was like in the country, one year it involved like working at a sweatshop newspaper kind of thing, and I still to this day can remember like the lyrics from these songs, these like weird catchy songs, because they were just ingrained in me like at a very developmental age. Like I remember in fourth grade our song was called Pen and Ink. It was like pen and ink all over everything, night and day. And like why I can retain the lyrics to that song, I am not sure.
Well, now
Um,
I know why you love Broadway so much.
there you
You've been
go.
doing Broadway since you're a child star, Casey.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I was the lead of my eighth grade school play. It was called Christmas in the Country. And I had a solo, and my voice cracked in the middle of my solo. And I started laughing because my basketball coach, who was sitting in the audience, pointed at me and started laughing. And that basically ended my theater career.
Wow, what a journey! I would have loved to see you
I
continue that.
know. Yeah. So there you go. Shall we delve into our lists?
Yeah, I think it's time. I'm thinking about my list. I'm trying to review it again and make sure I feel strongly, and I think I do. I'm trying to figure out what my thought process was behind it because I think I know. I'm looking at my list and there's a theme that I'm comfortable with, and I'm gonna my list. I think is it doesn't it has classic songs. I think
Okay.
there's gonna be some on mine that I don't have on here, even though they are classic, because I absolutely hate the song. So I had a little bit of a conflict of going, okay, do I put a song on here that I think is a bad song, but is historically played and known as a one hit wonder, or do I just go with the bangers? I went with the
Interesting.
bangers.
Okay, so I took a slightly different take. So I, again, as someone who can't think of a lot of music or like names of artists and things like that, I really tried to make sure that I did my research. And so I combed through some lists and things like that. And then there were some that I was like, oh no, without a doubt, like my top three, I'll say I was like, nope, I know that these are them. The other ones I had to kind of finesse a little bit or think about. And I kind of went through, these were songs that, and I'm not trying to really date it, but I will say these songs are a little bit older, but these were songs that when they were a thing, I as a kid or when it was relevant, like I wanted to listen to that song 24/7.
Interesting. So you have like a childhood feeling to them, like a
Sure.
relationship with them.
Yes, but I also try to base it on how one hit wondery they are, in the
Mm.
sense of like, and I think it'll make sense as I get to my list, and I have some justification for sort of why they fall where they fall. I had a very hard time deciding between what would be number five and what was my first honorable mention.
I agree with that. I think that was the hardest part for me. So I
So,
mean, let's get right into it.
okay.
And I wonder. I think there's going to be a few that are on yours. Mine are a little bit newer. There's at least one from the '90s, one from the '80s, and then the rest I think are like much newer. And I don't. I wonder if you have them on yours.
We'll see what happens.
All right, let me go first. I want to get my number five out of the way because I don't feel like it's that strong, but I was going through them and I had to listen to them. That's the important piece
Oh, I did the same thing.
because I couldn't just go off of what I felt when I looked at the song. I had to hear it to see how I viscerally reacted.
Yes, I did the same thing.
All right, so my number five, Casey, I think is going to surprise you and many of our listeners because you're now thinking of this person, and that is "Ride In" by Chameleonaire.
Oh my god.
And here's why. If you
I
don't
think
know the song,
you have to like, you got to give us at least a lyric or two.
yeah. So this is the song that starts. First of all, Weird Al Yankovic did a spoof of it, so you know that it's good enough for him to do it. And the song is has a really like good intro. It's a hip hop song, and it's every time I listen to the song, I want to stop and and like roll down my window because the beginning lyrics is they see me rolling, they hating, patrolling, they're trying to catch me riding there. And anytime I'm doing something slightly illegal, like maybe going 5 over the speed limit, I play the song and I get
That's
hyped. It's
funny.
an automatic
Wow.
hype song. I will listen to it at the gym. And I also have to apologize to everyone who had to hear me sing terribly, but
It's okay.
love that song. I think it's an underrated song. And
I
I don't think hip hop gets enough credit for their one hit wonders. I'm just gonna say that. And I'm a huge hip hop
yeah.
head. So love the song.
Wow.
That's my number five.
I That's a great, and I mean total justification for it. I totally understand it. I to be honest, I don't think it even registered for me that that was a one-hit wonder.
I know. I
Like
agree. And
I just assumed that that was like some other art, like somebody else who had done other things again because like I said, I mean, I need to be pounded in the head with music sometimes. I'm like, who is that? Who I like I can't discern music.
well, that's funny
It's
because I'm the opposite. I will look into an artist, I will know what they do and what like I get very specific with my artists and I do have versatility like in what I listen to. When people say, "What do you listen to?" and I hate the people that say, "I listen to everything." No, you don't. There are probably some things you don't listen to, and then I'll be like, "How about country?" Oh, I don't listen to country. All right, how
yeah,
about
or
jazz? Oh,
polka.
I don't listen. Yeah,
Yeah.
polka. So I think it's okay to not listen to everything. Just don't think that listening to pop and hip hop is
Yes.
everything. That's the downside. But I
I
genuinely
agree.
think that I have a very versatile playlist, um, and this is why I'm very familiar with many of these artists in different realms.
Wow.
So
That's so
number
funny. Good for
five,
you.
"Riding" by Chameleonaire, who has
Wow.
never made a song ever again.
Wow. I really, really did not know that. Wow, that's
Also,
funny.
can we talk about the name Chameleonaire? Like, is it a
Yeah.
chameleon who's a millionaire?
Yeah.
Like,
Or like, yeah.
he blends
Yeah.
it. Like, if he had a better name, he could have been
Yeah.
popular.
Oh my God, that's funny. So my number five is by The Fountains of Wayne. Uh, and
Oh, okay.
and coming in with Stacy's mom.
I love
Um,
this song.
so I like occasionally, and I don't really listen to the radio much anymore thanks to like Spotify, but I will hear that song at times like come on randomly, and I'm like, there's just something about the beat of it and like the way it just starts, and I mean, it's on here for a couple reasons, right? So I think first of all, there's no one in the world named Stacy who was not tortured by this song at some point in their life. For someone who was named Casey when the song was popular, that was a little bit difficult at times. It's such a weird song. It's very, if you really think about it, it's like cringeworthy. And if you go back and watch the music video, it's even worse because the kid in the music video looks like he's like 12 years old. And it's like, I'm not the little boy that I used to be. I'm all grown up now, baby. Can't you see? I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Stacy's mom. Like it's disgusting. It's catchy. It's whatever. And to be honest, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I feel like when this song was a thing, it was so relevant that like even my own mother, who is deaf, I feel like she even knows the lyrics because that's like when this song was out there and about, it was like everywhere. And I mean, they really have not ever done anything since.
The song is brilliant. I think what I love about this song, and again, Fountains of Wayne,
Weird name.
Wayne, New Jersey, who knows? There's no fountains in Wayne. That's the problem. But I love that it tells a story. That one of my favorite things about songs like these is they vividly tell you from the beginning what
Yes, they're telling a
you're trying to
story.
get. Yeah, love it. What a great number five.
Thank you. And when you
Wow.
see what it beat out, you'll be like, oh, I see.
This is really good. This is getting me like really excited to hear what's on the list. There's one on my list that is my number four. I want to hear your first because I feel like my number four will be on your list.
Okay. My number four is, you mentioned them earlier, the Baha Men, but Who Let the Dogs Out?
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Tell me more. I
I
had them on my honorable mention.
Okay. And so here's my thought process here. This, again, you mentioned just as we were talking about Stacy's mom like telling a story. I also can appreciate the like callback nature of this song. Like this song was everywhere in in the early 2000s, like late 90s, because I believe it came out in the year 2000. But who let the dogs out? Who like just I mean, as kids, I remember like screaming it on the playground at each other, like just screaming, being wild. I also remember it was like associated with the Rugrats movie, which is probably why I really liked it. In retrospect, again, a terrible song. It's horrible. It's all about catcalling women and referring to them as dogs because they're
Yes.
ugly, which is horrible. Horrible. And I'm often amazed at like what plays on the radio at times. Like I'm like, how did this like make it? How did this song become what it was supposed to be?
It
And
was
for that
catchy.
reason, yeah, and that's why I had it at number 4. I mean, it just like to me, it's like almost visceral of like, I feel like everybody at least once a year finds themselves saying at some point, like, well, who let the dogs out? Or wanting to know who let them out? Who
Well,
let
who
them out?
did?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's who let them out.
I
Who
guess.
let them out? No, so the reason it didn't make my top five, honestly, because I don't really like the song. I
Oh,
find it
I
to be
didn't
really annoying. That's the thing. So I know you're doing more classic, which I think is probably closer to
which
what
I
we.
mean, I'll be the first one to own it. I like annoying music. I like annoying music. I could listen to annoying songs from now until the end of time.
Well, this is one of
I
them.
have I've been at work before, and I've listened to. You can find on YouTube clips of like SpongeBob where he's going, "I'm stepping on the beach, doot 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 doot." Like you can find like a 6-hour clip of that. I've like listened to that
Oh
before.
Jesus. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
do that. That's annoying.
yeah. I don't know. I'm weird. I'm an enigma. It's fine. So continue. What's your number 4?
All right, so my number four is now we're gonna get into the songs that the moment they come on, you know the song
Mm-hmm.
and you instantly bop to it. This song I
Okay.
think is also international,
Okay.
which comes at number four. Casey, I know you love this song. I love listening to the song with you, and that is Mambo Number Five by Lou
Wow.
Bega. Tell me that is
Oh,
not on your list.
oh, it's on my list. It is my number 2 actually.
Interest.
Um,
No,
my
first of all, my favorite thing about the song is it's he looks like a cartoon character. Lou Bega looks like an absolute cartoon character that could be in like a Bugs Bunny movie
yes.
that sings on stage. The song is phenomenal. The trumpets.
Yes.
Also,
Oh,
you always ask
yeah.
this, Casey. Where's the other Mambos?
Where are the other 4 Mambos? I want to know. I'm still waiting for Mambos number 1 through 4. Hit me with a Mambo number 6. I want it. I remember my dad bought this CD from a catalog, like when that was a thing. And I mean, it's my number 2, as you said. I mean, this song still slaps. I love hearing it at a wedding occasionally. And I feel like, again, what made it popular or helped catch on was like when he starts calling out all these women, right? Like Pamela, Sandra, Rita, Monica, Erica, Tina, Mary, Jessica, all these women he calls out. It's like everybody knew at least one person with that name.
And then you'd point to them.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, like, I had class with this girl named Erica, and it was like, oh, Erica. And again, in retrospect, I don't know that it was great to be named by Lou Bega in this. Probably annoying, just as it was for people named Stacy. But I love everything about it. I love it. It slaps. I love hearing it at a wedding. Like I just think it's a good, like, it just makes you want to get up and move.
It
It's definitely
does.
infectious. And so
And
I
it
actually looked it up,
go
Antonio.
ahead, okay.
He really never did anything else, partially because allegedly, and there's debates of depending on what you read on the internet, but this Mambo number 5 was a sample of another song, and then he had to battle it in court, and so therefore he really, by the time all that dust settled, he just his career was over.
Well, interesting. You know what I also read about him?
What?
He's a German recording artist.
Yes, I did come across that.
I mean, he doesn't. It's hard to say, right? But like I'm saying, he doesn't look German, and it's a mambo song, so I almost assumed he was Hispanic of some sort.
Yep.
He definitely dressed like a one of those like show tunes person that would like dance on stage and
Or like, yeah, a wolf that would like try to like steal your girl in a music video, right?
Yeah, exactly. He
Like a
does,
white
by the
suit.
way, and I don't know if you remember this, but like he has other songs that are really bad. I've
I
listened
don't
to
even
them.
think I've ever listened to anything else.
It's hilarious. He has like bunch of songs that are really bad if you ever want to
Oh,
listen to them. But guess what? I think one of the top all-time one-hit wonders.
oh,
That's
definitely.
that's
Like I said,
guaranteed.
that was my number two. So, Antonio, if that was your number four, tell me what you got at number three.
All right. So this is one of the songs on my list that is actually newer.
Okay.
It is a more, I would say, in the last decade or so, actually, like time flies by. This is a song that you and I also have listened to together many a times. It's a song that if we're in a funk, Casey, we typically put on. We have on the way to conferences in a car, have nearly blacked out from singing it so loudly.
Oh my God.
And you've asked me on my wedding day, you asked me to make sure that the DJ played the song for you.
Wow.
Can you guess what it is?
Really? I can, but I want you to let our listeners know.
So the song is "Shut Up and Dance" by Walk the Moon.
Interesting. I would not consider them a one-hit wonder.
They are, and that's what I thought. But they don't have any other songs and stopped
No,
making music.
so okay, first of all, I follow them on Instagram. And just yesterday, one of the people left the band and they made a post about it. But so it's so interesting. I don't consider them to be a one-hit wonder. I've actually seen them in concert.
They are a one-hit
Um,
wonder, though. And if you ask anybody else to name another song by Walk the
oh my
Moon,
God. Anna Sun.
yeah, but you can name their
No.
song, but
Uh,
it's not popular.
sure, that's fine.
Yeah, but
Wow,
that's
in
what
my
they're defined. Like Walk the Moon will
Sure.
forever be defined by
Yeah.
Shut Up and
I mean,
Dance.
that song is phenomenal. Oh my
It's
God.
there's nothing else that they've made. And the thing is, I know the
That has been
songs
commercially successful.
here's the thing, and this is why
Because
I think
I don't consider that to be a one hit wonder. The song slaps. It's amazing. I'm not upset it's on your list. I am also a weirdo. I have weird music tastes. I've seen them in concert. And I think they're really good. I've
no,
actually seen them twice, I think. Have I? I can't remember
that's
because
too many times. But did they just sing
concerts,
Shut Up and Dance like 7 times? Because I know you enjoy
no,
them like
they have other
well,
songs.
so Shut Up and Dance, I think was like 2014. So I know it's hard to tell that a band is a one-hit wonder only like 6 years later, but I genuinely think that in like 20 years from now, 10 years from now, we're gonna look back and say they're a one-hit wonder. And many people online, which had looked it up, also consider them a one-hit wonder. They've made other music.
Interesting.
I don't know any of their other music.
Well, and I think it's hard because that song was so, so, so successful that it's like, how do you recapture that essence again? It's really
But if
tough.
you're a great
Um,
artist, you will. I mean, you look at
wow.
great artists, like Bruno Mars, for example, he's had hit after hit. He's topped himself every time. They haven't been able to do that, which
Yeah.
is why I consider them a very, very early. And I knew this one would be controversial, but a very, very early one-hit wonder.
Yeah. I mean, I know so many songs by them.
But how many times have we sang that? Well, you know
We
them,
have,
but like I
yeah.
could
I
say
have that again. I own their album. I've bought their album. I have it. I used to have it in my car.
but all of these
Wow.
artists, by the way, they all have more songs. They all have more albums.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not. All right, all right.
So
Can
I
I
don't
tell you my
care.
number three?
Yes, but I just want to say I
Because
don't care. I will forever listen to that song
yeah,
with
well,
you in a car
I
on the way to Pittsburgh.
meet me in Pittsburgh. So my number three is in a similar sense. I mean, it's definitely a dance number. And I think the only time you will ever hear it ever again is at a wedding or maybe at someone's retirement party. And that
Okay.
song, which this is probably the only choreographed dance number I know, would be the Macarena.
Interesting. That was on
Yes.
my honorable mention.
Wow. Yeah. I just think it is literally like first of all, I love this song as a kid. I have a couple pictures. I will make sure they get posted to our Instagram where you can clearly see in the photo I'm doing the Macarena. Not only am I doing the Macarena, but I am off. Um, because everyone else in the picture is
Of
on a
course you
different
are.
step. But I loved it. I would always wanted to play at weddings, school dances. To me, it's honestly like the original TikTok dance. And again, it made my list because I looked up what it was about. Do you know what it's about?
It's very, very weird.
It
It's a
is
very, very weird song.
about a girl named Macarena who cheats on her boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
with two friends while he's being drafted into the army.
Look, I'm gonna say this. There's some folks online that mentioned that this is potentially about a song about a threesome.
Yeah. And guess what? White people been doing it at weddings all these years, like
Wait,
dancing up a
what
storm.
the Macarena or
Yeah. Oh, oh yes, the
oh,
Macarena.
okay. Just checking.
Yeah, I mean, when I was like thinking of this list, it's really only getting played at weddings. And that I think eventually will get phased out as people, younger than us start to grow up and they're like, what is this like
I don't think
song?
so.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think
I
so. I
just
think
love
this is
a
that
very
iconic.
common dance. I feel like everybody knows how to do it. It's basically you just put your arms out, flip them around, and you just shake your butt. And so, therefore, that was my number three. You know my number two, Antonio. So please let us know what you got.
I don't know what your number one is going to be because I really thought that some of the ones I mentioned might have been on your list and even higher. My number
Interesting.
two is a karaoke favorite.
Okay.
It is iconic. I think the woman who sings it is iconic just for the song alone. And if you tell me
The
she has any
woman.
other songs, it doesn't matter to me because this is all that matters. The song is "A Thousand Miles" by Vanessa Carlton.
Interesting. So, wait, before you say anything else, I just want you to know I've also seen her in concert.
One song is all that
Why
matters. That's all
have
you
I
really
seen all
want.
these one-hit wonder people in concert? I saw her in concert, and believe it or not, she did not sing that.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah,
That's
she does
all
have
she's
other
known
stuff,
for.
but
Barely, dude,
barely. You're
barely. Her
right.
and it's not good. And
Interesting. Why is that so high up on your list? I want to know.
the moment the piano drops on this song, Casey, and this is one of those songs that I know every word to, I don't know what it is.
It was
I go
also in
nuts.
White Chicks,
It was in
right?
White Chicks.
Okay.
But I think everyone loves this song. If you sing this in karaoke, you don't even have to carry the song. The whole audience will sing it with you. I just think it's so good. I think it's iconic. I think it's been in movies. And I think for me overall, a good one hit wonder
Mm-hmm.
needs to be generational. And I think that this song is certainly
Interesting.
generational.
Okay. All right.
And I'm
I'm laughing in my
surprised it's
head.
not in I'm so
Yeah,
surprised this is not
I think it's because I don't consider her to be a one hit wonder. Like I mean, she's like a one. She's yes, she had one hit that was a wonder, and then she had a couple other like blips on the radar. But I can name, she's got White Houses.
no one
Um,
listens to that, dude.
I know, but I know it. So to me, I associate her as a two hit wonder. She's got more than one hit for me. She's
No.
by wondrous.
No, she's not by Wondrous. She is a one-hit wonder. Most
That's
people will tell
funny.
you if you say name of Vanessa Carlton songs, they will be like songs. Only 1,000 miles is a song. There's nothing else you think about when you think about Vanessa Carlton. So clearly, our
Interesting.
definitions of one-hit wonders are different.
Yeah, I also just think I have weird music taste. Like, how is it I've seen two of your two of your people in concert live like paid money?
I
How is
don't
that
know
possible?
for to listen to
I know,
one song that they didn't even
I know,
play their most popular song.
I know. Yeah, well, to be fair, she was an opener for somebody else, but yeah, I
Whatever.
went to a lot of concerts. Wow, that's so funny. Well,
I'm a little
I
disappointed now.
no. Well, when you hear my number one, I think you'll understand.
All right, tell me your number one then.
All right. So my number one, oh my God, this song, my number one, Antonio, is the song Bad Day by Daniel Powder.
What? That's your number one?
That's my number one song. Hear me out. Don't make fun of me.
I love the song, but like
Oh
when you
my
think
God.
when you think the most iconic one-hit wonder, you think of this song?
That MFer had do you know how bad his days must be that he had a number one song called Bad Day and then never anything else? His life has been a series of bad days. He is living in a bad episode of Black Mirror. And the reason the song And let me give you a couple of reasons why it is my literal number one. First of all, as I said before, I try to pick songs that like I still would sing, listen to, or like I hear and I'm like, oh my God, like I remember that song. Antonio, first of all, his name was Daniel Powder and it was spelled Poter,
Yep.
like a little weird. Not the traditional spelling of powder. It came out in 2005, and this was like the epitome of lightning in a bottle. It was everywhere. It was on American Idol when they were sending people home. It
Oh,
was like
that's true. Yeah.
it was in every commercial. It was like literally, I mean, I felt like it did not stand the test of time, but it felt like it was going to. When it first came out, it was like, oh my God, like, oh, I love the poetry of it. Like you're faking a smile with the coffee to go, you're kicking up the leaves and the magic is lost. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a song that to me, if you started to hear it, you would be like, I completely forgot that existed, but at the same time, I've been cognizant of it my entire life. And that's why I have it as my number one. How many bad days has he had?
Since
Like, I
then,
just,
yeah, he's continuing to have them. And I guess, I imagine that he's been prepared for 2020 based on the song. But
yeah. And the reason I have it at my number one, it's not like with Mama number five or the Macarena or even Shut Up and Dance, right? It's not like there's a reason for it to play. Like, even with your Vanessa Carlton choice, like, you might sing that at karaoke. Nobody is singing the song at karaoke. If you're singing the song at karaoke, you've had too much to drink.
and you're sad. You're very sad.
Yeah. Like and that's why to me it's like such an enigma because it was like a pop song all about a really bad day, about like being depressed and sad and I just it's almost like it's an enigma and for that reason it's my number one. I will also tell everyone I remember going to a used CD store and buying his CD and I only listened to Bad Day. I tried to listen to one other song and I was like, oh, this is like garbage. And I think that's my first memory of being ripped off as a kid.
I'm still fascinated that this is your number one. The reason I don't particularly like the song is because it reminds me of when I worked at a restaurant and we used
Okay.
to play it on the radio, and it just reminds me of, like, anytime I hear that song, instantly smell the oil from the restaurant.
Yes. You have like song aversion. I know.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And
song
that's
version.
magical about songs, right? They can bring you back to some sort of time or you recall a memory and that can be triggering.
All right, let me give you my number one. Let me cheer you up a little bit. My number one, I think, would almost be unanimously, in my opinion, America's number one hit wonder. And here's why. One, it's a fantastic song.
Okay.
Two, it has been an internet sensation.
Okay. Oh, I think I
And
know what
that
it
song
is.
is Never Gonna
Never
Give
gonna
You
gonna
Up
give you up.
by Rick Astley.
Wow, that is phenomenal choice. Bravo.
And you can call it Rick rolling, getting Rick rolled when you give someone a link and it brings you to, like, I can tell you that his YouTube channel, the song that's on YouTube, not his YouTube channel, is probably literally a bunch of Rick rolls. Like, at least 5 million of those listens are Rick rolls. I love the song. I think I love the music video. The song itself is great. And he's
Yeah.
recently coming out with, like, he's doing some music now. Not good, but he's done like covers of the song with people. And
hmm
in my opinion, if this isn't the greatest one hit wonder of all time, because he is so talented and has the potential of making more music, but just never did.
Wow,
So
that
there is
is
my number
a
one. Never
phenomenal.
Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Good job. Wow, what a playlist this would be.
Yeah, maybe we should create a one hit wonder Spotify playlist
There you go. So,
and
what did
share
you
it
have in
with
your
people.
honorable mention? Anything else?
Yeah, so I did have Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus because I think it's a funny song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did have Macarena. You know what song I'm disappointed? I wish that I had more spots to put is What Is Love by Hadaway, which is
Oh,
like the song of
yeah.
the 90s for me.
Wow. Yeah, that was in like one of those dance games, wasn't it? I feel like I heard that, people playing Dance Dance Revolution to that.
Oh, I believe it. It was all over the place. It was very popular.
Wow. So my honorable mention, the two that I want to mention are Funky Town
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Which I believe is by, I think they were called like the Hot Lips or like
Yeah,
something
again, terrible
Lips,
name.
weird.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, which I mean, became iconic from Shrek, when they're going into Far, Far Away. But another honorable mention that had I come across this in my research a little bit sooner, it maybe would have hit my list. But oh my God, it's the song Blue by Eiffel 65.
I hate that song.
Oh my God. But it was
I
like
hear you. No, I
an
know.
infectious, like,
I
oh my God.
know.
I just remember like, and I don't even want to say the lyrics because it's like it just gets stuck in your head. And then like 3 days later when you haven't slept, you're like, why can't I get this out of my head?
I just want to
And
mention, I don't want to have any disrespect to these artists, but I know there's at least two that I thought about. I was like, should I put these on here? And that is like Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer.
mhm,
I do think that MC Hammer does deserve some credit, even though it's a horrible song. Can't touch this. I think it has played in so many commercials. And although
yeah.
I don't personally like the song, I do know that it deserves at least a mention. Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby is just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I always crack up thinking about one hit wonders because it just makes me wonder like what are they doing now, right? A lot of them continue to make music, they never see the same success. It's like, I think about some of these artists sometimes and I'm like, what are they doing for healthcare? What are they doing to pay their
Dude, they're
bills, right?
still making money off these songs.
I know, but I mean, Bad Day can't be playing that much. Like, are you
No.
telling
Well,
me Daniel
it's
Powder like works at a bank maybe, like he's got to be doing something.
what is he doing? I don't know. I
I
hope
looked
he's
it up,
doing
it
well.
says
I hope
he's
he's having a better day.
Me too.
That's
I
all
hope
I
we're
ca-
we
that's all I
I
want
hope
from
we
him.
all have better days.
Well, and this is airing, I think, the week before the new year. So I think it's Casey. I think it's safe to wish everyone a great year.
We wish tidings of good joy and love and laughter and just good better things. Better
That's all we want.
2021, better
And
future.
in 2021, a ton more lists on this podcast. And of course, we'd love to hear from you because some of these lists, honestly, we had planned for others, but our fans and our listeners have been really active in saying,
Yeah.
like, please do this topic. So we just want y'all to also engage with us on our social media on Instagram at the Enlisted Podcast. We'll post funny pictures. We'll do daily polls, weekly polls, I should say, when we release our podcast. So have fun, enjoy, take a load off, and we hope you have an incredible 2021. All right, folks, thanks for listening to another episode of the Enlisted Podcast. My name is Antonio Talamo.
And I'm Casey Coleman.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Enlisted Podcast. Want more of these podcasts? Be sure to click the subscribe button and leave us a 5-star review. Be part of our full show experience by engaging with us at the Enlisted Podcast on Instagram. Until next time.